Hi, greetings. Welcome to another Crispy Motep special. More bad news again. I wanted to do Black History this month, and I'm going to do it, but wow, it's like this year with the COVID situation, a lot of our icons and legends are just dropping like flies. And so sad to report that we've lost the legendary Johnny Nash. Johnny Nash came to form and came to worldwide recognition in the late 1960s of a number of classic reggae rocksteady songs. One of his very first hit was Hold Me Tight in 1968, and that was followed by Cupid, a cover of the Sam Cooke classic, the year after, 1969. And he met Bob Marley, the Wailers. He went to Jamaica, got the reggae bug, got the rocksteady bug, and then took it upon himself to cover some Bob Marley songs. Two which springs to mind was Stereo Up, and Stereo Up was one of the first songs he covered, and Guava Jelly as well, which of course Bob Marley also sung and made it into a hit, but that was a hit in the Jamaican charts, and he had a chart topper in 1972 of I Can See Clearly Now. That song is a worldwide song. It's an anthem. You go to most places in the world and they'll know that song, and they'll play that song on the radio stations and in clubs and discos and so on. That was number one on the top of the American Billboard charts in 1972. And in 1975 you got another number one, but this time over here in the UK, with Tears on My Pillow. And then he became a heartthrob for a lot of women around the world. He was also an actor in the 1960s, starring in some films. He also worked in theatre as well, so he's an actor as well as a singer and songwriter. Born in Texas in August of 1940, the 19th of August 1940, Texas, Houston, Texas. Johnny Nash would go on to become one of the greatest voices, even though he wasn't a prolonged reggae singer, but one of the greatest voices that did reggae and recorded reggae, and also one of the most, I would say, smooth voice vocalists, because his voice was like as smooth as silk, so pure, so holy. That wonderful high-pitched tenor voice of his was so unmistakable and so recognizable. He's one of those great artists who had artist identity. You could hear it. You knew it was Johnny Nash when the song came over the radio, or if you went to a club or so on, you knew it was Johnny Nash. He had an artist identity, like Bob himself and many other of the great voices. And so, unfortunately, we lost him. We never heard much about him for the last 30 or so years. I remember I myself asking some people who are new in the industry about his whereabouts, if they knew anything about him, and nobody knowing about anything where he was, nothing about his whereabouts. I remember many years ago, I think I might have the recording here somewhere, I'll have to dig it out one of these days. Danny Sims, who in actual fact, it was Danny Sims and Johnny Nash who got Bob Marley to sign a contract. The first contract Bob Marley signed outside of Jamaica, and this is around 1971. They're going to Sweden and done some songs in Sweden on the Jad label. The Jad standing for Johnny and Danny, which is Johnny Nash and Danny Sims. And then Bob Marley done some songs with them, on that label. Some obscure songs. You don't hear those songs very often on the radio. Those songs are slightly under the radar. But they're trying to get Bob out there to the international market. That was a couple of years before Chris Blackwell came and signed Bob to Island Records. Anyway, and so as I was saying before, and so he sung some covers of Bob Marley songs, and then Danny Sims and he tried to get Bob into the industry and into the commercial market, I should say, trying to launch Bob as a superstar reggae legend. And this before Chris Blackwell, got in and got his hands on Bob Marley really, and took away Bunny and Peter from Bob. And so as I was saying before, I was trying to ask some people who I know in the industry about his whereabouts. And I remember many years ago, this is about maybe 15 years ago now, the ranking Miss P, she used to have a show on the BBC, and she interviewed Danny Sims, the same Danny Sims I'm telling you about, who merged with Johnny Nash to sign Bob to a contract. Unfortunately, all three of them are now dead, because at least Danny Sims was around then, and so was Johnny. And anyway, and so I remember Ranky Miss B was asking Danny Sims as to where Johnny Nash was. Why we don't hear about him anymore? Where is it? You know, is he still making music? Is he still alive? And then Danny Sims said, yes, but he's wealthy. He's retired on his ranch in Houston, Texas, and he just doesn't. The music bug is left him. He's just there making money, because I think he had some property and he had some investments and so on, and he had a big ranch in Texas. And he said he's made lots of money, he's made millions, so he's contented of life. He's just there, kind of like just every day gets up and he just, you know, just living life, you know, not doing any work and making money in his sleep, because, you know, his songs are covered many times. They're using films, using commercial ads and so on, using computer games and so many other, you know, avenues, and so many other different, you know, avenues and platforms. And so he's making money as he sleeps, so he's not really bothered about hackling himself. At that time he was about in his 60s, hackling himself, you know, as a pensioner, and, you know, and so on. And so and then rank him. I remember Danny Sims said, yeah, but he's made his mark, and he has, you know, made his mark. And he's one of those artists I wish that was still singing until, at least, even if he was still doing at that time, I would love to have gone and see him, because his voice is so smooth. It's such a silky voice. And funny enough, I remember seeing a documentary about 5 years ago. It was a documentary about Bob Marley, actually, and Johnny Nash was part of that documentary. You know, they were following him around like he was on a tennis court or something, and he went into this building and he was singing, and I never seen Johnny Nash up like that before. I can't remember what the name of the documentary was, but I remember watching it. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to type something into YouTube and see if it comes up on YouTube, and then I'll take it from there. Then I'll come and maybe advertise it on here for you guys to go and view it. But I know Johnny Nash was very much part of that documentary, you know, along with Bob, you know, because that was around the time Johnny Nash, because they went to Sweden. And then Johnny Nash came over here as well, but Marley was over here. And this was around 1973, and Johnny Nash was over here because he had that big hit, I Can See Clearly Now. And so he became, obviously, when you have a song like that, you become international, so you go all over. And I must say, Johnny Nash was also a soul singer in the early days. You know, he had a big hit in 1965 with Move and Groove, you know, and he had some other song. He had another song called You Got Soul. That's around 1968. You Got Soul. That was not a reggae song. That was a soul song. And then I believe the first reggae song, or should I say rock steady, going into reggae, was was Hold Me Tight. Wonderful song. And then he did a wonderful rendition of Cupid, Sam Cooke's song. Wonderful rendition of that song, 1969. Then I Can See Clearly Now was 1972. He had so many other songs. I think he took Guava Jelly into the charts, Bob Marley's song. I also Tear It Up as well, you know. And Tears on My Pillow was 1975. That was number 1 over in the UK. That was a wonderful song. I remember hearing that song some years ago. I thought, wow, that's a beautiful song. And then, you know, some of the songs he's done kind of comes out of my head, but there's so many songs he's done. And those are just the hit songs, you know. And I remember I got a single here of him. I think that's probably the first, well, I should say first, the last song maybe he did. I wouldn't say probably the last song, but the last major song he did. In 1989, I can't remember the name of the song, but I know I got it's packed away somewhere here. And he's sitting down and he's got a jacket on and he's leaning against somewhere, sitting down like this. And his hair was like much shorter, because obviously in the 70s he had afro. That was a style at the time. But his hair was really neat and short, and he had a jacket on. I don't think it was a suit. I think it was a jacket, like a grey jacket. And he was sitting down somewhere, and he looked really, you know, smart. And but that was about. I think that was one of the last songs, you know, he did. Probably of any recognition. I can't talk. Of any recognition. Yeah, that was 89. And since then, I've not heard him sing on anything, really. I know Jimmy Cliff did a cover of I Can See Clearly Now, 1994. But there you go. Passed away, natural causes. His family said he passed away at home, age of 80. So he's lived a long life, passed away. And natural causes took him, and we never heard nothing from him for years, and here we go. But we'll say thank you so much for listening to us, and he's left his mark. He really has left his mark, Johnny Nash, you know. And it's a sad year. I mean, sometimes I'm thinking of what a year it's been. We've lost so many artists. We lost Toots. You know, I heard that Van Halen died yesterday as well. Van Halen, who played on Beat It, Michael Jackson's Beat It. Yeah, that funky guitar on Beat It. He passed away yesterday, you know. And so this has been a wretched year. Lost Toots, as I said. We lost Bobby Dobson, Little Richard, Betty Wright. And there's so many others. Kenny Rogers passed away this year as well, you know. And so now we've lost two in one day. Bunny Lee died, as well as Johnny Nash died. And so, brothers and sisters, we're trying to, hopefully when we come here again next, it's going to be more uplifting news. Not keep announcing somebody passing away. I don't like it. It's upsetting. But we have to give you the story. We have to give you, pay homage to these artists, to these legends and icons. And then hopefully we pray that no more deaths for this year. So we can come in here, talk about Black history, talk about some more uplifting things. And, to get you guys into a much better mood. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels. Like and share, spread the word, please. We're growing, but we want to grow some more. Thank you so much. Peace out.